students, today let's deal with the grammar exercises given in the poem You Can't Be That. Here I will be giving little more depth explanation. Do not scare on that. That is only for information. Okay. Let's recap about pronouns. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or noun phrase. Pronouns refer to either a noun that has already been mentioned or to a noun that does not need to be named specifically. Here I would like to remind you a basic rule. What is? The subject. The subject is the person or thing doing something. The object is having something done to it. Now let's see this simple example. The fruit fell on the lion. In this sentence, two nouns are there. The fruit and the lion. The fruit is the subject and the object is the lion. The fruit fell on the lion. Can you read it one more time so that you will get more clarity? The fruit fell on the lion. In this sentence, the fruit. What fell on the lion? The fruit. The fruit is doing something to whom? The lion. And the lion received some sort of action from the subject. So it is called as object here. Vice versa, if it is goes to the pronoun also. If you are using pronoun instead of any noun, see, I asked her. In the second sentence also we have two pronouns, I and her. I is the subject and her is the object. Now I have given a small data table for you. Please have a look to it. So this makes our work easier to identify first person, second person and third person. Singular forms for subject are I, you, he, she, it. For plural, it is we, you, they. First person, second person, third person objects of singular form are me, you, him or it. And plural forms are us, you, them. Commonly we have 10 types of pronouns. In this we are going to focus only on demonstrative, intensive and reflexive pronoun today. Here is another table for you. See, that is first person, second person and third person male, female. And what are their plural forms? Subject pronouns, object pronouns, possessive adjectives, possessive pronouns, reflexive pronouns. I, me, my, myself. In this data, adjective spelling is wrong. Please bear with me. Okay. T is missing. The second person, you. You are yours. Yourself. Now, in the third person, male, he, him, his, himself. Third person, female, she, her, hers, herself. For the third person, it, itself. We, us, our, ours, ourselves. You, You, your, yours, yourselves. They, them, their, theirs, themselves. Now let's recap about demonstrative pronouns. Can you see the picture? For singular form, for representing near, we have to use this. And for singular form which is available in a far away, what we are supposed to use? That. For plural form which is available nearby, we have to use the word these. And for the plural form which is available at little far away, we are supposed to use the word those. A demonstrative pronoun tells us whether it refers to something like singular or plural, and it is like a nearby or far away. Demonstrative pronouns works like a pointer. For example, that is mine. Those are mine. This is mine. These are mine. As I already mentioned, this is the singular form used to point out something is nearby. That is mine. That is far away, but that is a singular thing. So we are used the word that. That is mine. That points out to an object that is far, basically showing ownership. Those are mine. Those points to things that are far. This is mine. This points to an object that is near. These are mine. These points to things that are near. Demonstrative pronoun is act as determiner, modify a noun that follows it. For example, that is toothache. In the sentence, the book or which is available there, or the speaker is pointing, that we have to assume. So in that time we no need to specify the noun. We can modify that noun, or we can replace that noun with the pronoun that, because it is far away. If it is nearby, you have to use the word this. For the singular things, if it is a plural, what you have to use? These or those. That is toothache. Pointing afar, that modifies the book which is not really mentioned in the sentence by determining which one is thick. Those strawberry pies were even better. Pointing afar, those determines which is even better. This lamp is perfectly crafted. Pointing somewhere near. This determines which one is perfectly crafted. These apple pies are delicious. Pointing somewhere near. This determines which food are delicious. And in some cases, demonstrative pronouns are used to compare two objects. For example, these are smaller than those. I will never forget this. For better understanding, I am playing one small video for you. Please listen.
Four demonstrative pronouns: this, that, these, and those. A demonstrative pronoun points out a specific person, place, thing, or idea. Demonstrative pronouns point out things that have previously been mentioned or are understood from context. Like all pronouns, they are used to replace nouns. This and that represent singular nouns. This represents something that is close by. For example, this is very dirty. His proudest moment is this. That represents something that is farther away. For example, that is so hilarious. Another example, what is that? That is one huge snowball. These and those represent plural nouns. These represents something that is close by. For example, I think I'm allergic to these. Another example, my favorite songs are these. Those represents something that is farther away. For example, Victor, aren't those heavy? Grandpa really loves those. Note, the same words that are used as demonstrative pronouns can also function as demonstrative adjectives. However, demonstrative adjectives modify nouns or pronouns. For example, pronoun, I will put these in a vase. Adjective, I will put these flowers in a vase. See the difference? Another example, pronoun, after you hug me, please take these. Adjective, after you hug me, please take these bags. See the difference? Unlike demonstrative pronouns, demonstrative adjectives cannot stand alone to represent a noun.
Hope you have understood the topic. See, this is like our warm-up exercise. You are supposed to fill these comic strips with the demonstrative adjectives here. This, that, these, or those. You can pass this video. It is only a warm-up exercise. If you want more time, you can please pass this video and you can fill. Okay. Now, let's see about emphatic or intensive pronoun. A reflexive pronoun that is used after the subject for sake of emphasis is called emphatic pronoun. Myself, herself, ourselves, himself, yourself, yourselves, itself, themselves. Subject plus reflexive pronoun is equal to emphatic pronoun. Let us see some more examples. I myself caught the tiger. You yourself choose this suit. They themselves learn the new lesson. The intensive pronouns, also called as emphatic pronouns. The same words which I have read for you. An intensive pronoun refers back to another noun or pronoun in the sentence to emphasize it. Let's see some examples. She will do it herself. In this sentence, she wants to do it by herself and nobody will be helping. So the sentence which we can understand from this is she has to do that particular action. So what is the emphasized word over here? Herself. The emphatic pronoun herself emphasizes that she will do it. None of others will doing it. Next sentence, the scouts cooked these cakes themselves. This emphasizes that the scouts cooked the cakes, that is not their mothers. I heard the light myself. This emphasizes that I heard the lie, not somebody else. Let us see one more example. The queen herself attended the party. The queen is the noun being emphasized. Now let's see some more examples. John bakes all the bread himself. The intensive pronoun himself refers back to the noun John. It means that John bakes all the bread by himself without anyone's help. The cat opened the door itself. John can do it himself. Look at the sentences carefully. John can do it himself. Next sentence is woman must create the world they want themselves. In this first one, John. Antecedent to himself. That is, the work should be processed by him. John can do it himself. And in the second sentence, woman must create the world they want themselves. Themselves again, it's pointing out to the noun woman. That is, it is emphasize the word woman. That is, themselves, they have to create the world they want. For better understanding, I am going to play one short video for you all. Please watch it.
Alright, grammarians, so we know that there's one way to use this thing we call reflexive pronouns, and that's to say you're doing something to yourself. As in the sentence, I made myself breakfast. Right, I'm making myself breakfast. Or in the sentence, Ronaldo cut himself shaving. Sorry about the capital S there. That is a mistake. So Ronaldo and himself and I and myself. These are called reflexive pronouns, and we use them when the subject and the object of a sentence is the same thing. Right. But there's another way to use these reflexive pronouns, and it's called emphatic usage. So I want you to imagine me storming off in a huff or getting really excited as I say the following. Well, if you won't help me, I'll do it myself. Or, he's lying. I heard it myself. Or, the princess herself is running the charity marathon. And what this is what we call emphatic or intensive, because we use it to intensify a statement or to grant it emphasis, right? This is how it works. So instead of just saying, and the key difference between reflexive and intensive or emphatic usage of this kind of pronoun is you could take these right out of a sentence, and it would still make sense. I'll do it. I heard it. The princess will run the marathon, right? We're using them as intensifiers, which really means they can come right out. They're not essential to the understanding of the sentence. You're just using these words in order to hammer home a point. You know, if someone else isn't helping you, you say, I'll do it, but you want to really hammer home the fact that you're going to be doing it alone. So you say, I'll do it myself. And if you want to emphasize that you were there and you heard something happen, you would say, I heard it myself. And if it's really crazy that the princess is running this marathon, then you would say, whoa, the princess herself will be there. And that's nuts. And that's the intensive or emphatic pronoun. That's how you use it. You can learn anything. David out.
Hope you have got some clarity. Now let's see about what are reflexive pronouns. The reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself, ourselves, yourselves and themselves. These words can be either reflexive pronouns or emphatic pronouns. This presentation is about their use as reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are objects that refer to the subject. They end in self or selves. The boy kicked himself. Himself is equal to direct object. She made herself coffee. Herself, in this sentence, it is indirect object. You should address the letter to yourself. Yourself is equal to object of the preposition. A reflexive pronoun is used with another noun or pronoun when something does something to itself. For example, John pinched himself. The reflexive pronoun himself tells us that John did something to John. John pinched his sister. In the second sentence, there is no reflexive pronoun. He is doing to his sister, not to himself. See, again I am projecting the chart. Subject, object, possessive adjectives, possessive pronouns and reflexive pronouns. Using a reflexive pronoun means you do not have to repeat the subject. Alison, the members argued amongst themselves for an hour. We often ask ourselves why we left London. Again, I am displaying the table. For first person, we can use it for myself for singular, for plural, ourselves. Second person, yourself, yourselves. Third person, for male, himself, themselves. For female, herself, themselves. For third person, neuter, that is it, itself, themselves. Here I will give a clue. Reflexive pronouns return verbs to the doer. Reflexive pronoun return verbs to the doer. Now let's see with examples. I hurt myself. I hurt myself. What is the verb here? Hurt. And the reflexive pronoun is myself. What did I done to myself? I hurt myself. You cut yourself. He hit himself. She loves herself. It washes itself. We prepare ourselves. You congratulated yourselves. They support themselves. As object of verbs, reflexive pronouns receive the action of verbs. It look little confusing, but it is not that. Please make a chart and practice. It is really easy if you do it in this way. You have to see first subject and what is the verb there and what is the object. If we, in this sentence, subject, verb, object, if you take it, the object almost the receiver or of the action is they themselves as the subject, isn't it? That is the easiest way you can remember this reflexive pronoun. As object of verbs, reflexive pronouns receive the action of verbs. In most sentences, somebody does something to someone else. For example, I like him. He spoke to her. The dog bit her. However, sometimes people do things to themselves, and this is when you can use myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself, ourselves, yourselves and themselves as reflexive pronouns. For example, I like myself. He spoke to himself. She thumped herself. Thumped means hit or strike. The dog bit itself. Reflexive pronouns return verbs to the doer. Now see. Cinderella looked at herself in the mirror. What she's doing? She's looking. Whom she's looking? Herself. Cinderella looked at herself in the mirror. Cinderella's ugly sisters watched themselves in Technicolor on a 3D movie screen. The prince congratulated himself on finding such a beautiful bride. Cinderella's mother threw herself down on the floor, kicking and screaming. The coachmen turned themselves back into little white mice. We were proud of ourselves for having good manners at the wedding. As objects of verbs, reflexive pronouns receive the actions of verbs. For better understanding, I am going to play a video. Please watch it.
Hi friends! Today we will learn more about the types of pronouns. So let's start. We have already learned that there are 10 types of pronouns, and out of them we have learned about personal and reflexive pronouns in detail in our last section. Today we will learn about emphatic pronouns. Emphatic pronouns are same as reflexive pronouns. Himself, herself, ourselves, itself, yourself, yourselves. All these are emphatic pronouns. Yes, exactly same as reflexive pronoun. Why do we call as emphatic pronouns? All these pronouns are compound pronouns, and they can be emphatic pronoun and reflexive pronoun. Depending on the role they play in the sentence, we will learn in next example. Reflexive pronouns are used when the subject refers to itself or subject and the object of the sentence are same. He bought a watch for himself. Here, the subject is he, and the subject he is referring to itself by the use of pronoun himself. Also, you cannot remove the reflexive pronoun from the sentence. He bought a watch for. The sentence is incomplete without pronoun, so this pronoun is reflexive pronoun. Now see when these same compound pronouns are emphatic pronouns. You should be sorry. You yourself should be sorry. In the second sentence, the pronoun yourself laid emphasis on the pronoun you. So the compound pronoun yourself emphasizing the pronoun you. This is why here this compound pronoun is known as emphatic pronoun. Also, a sentence is still meaningful if you remove the emphatic pronoun from the sentence. He himself bought a watch. Here, the emphatic pronoun himself is emphasizing the noun he. Even if you remove it, the sentence will remain meaningful. He bought a watch. So now we know what are emphatic pronouns. Let's have many more examples on it. I myself will clean this window. Here, the emphatic pronoun, myself, emphasizing the pronoun I. And the sentence will remain meaningful if we remove myself. Like, I will clean this window. The sentence is still meaningful. Remember, if compound pronouns like myself, herself, himself, itself cannot be removed from the sentence, in that case, those pronouns are called reflexive pronouns. If compound pronouns like myself, yourself, himself can be removed from the sentence and the sentence still remains meaningful, in that case, these pronouns are called emphatic pronouns. She herself will apologize for it. Here, herself, a compound pronoun, is an emphatic pronoun, as it's emphasizing the pronoun she. And the sentence will remain meaningful if you remove herself. She will apologize for it. He himself should pack his bag. Here, himself, a compound pronoun, is an emphatic pronoun, as it's emphasizing the pronoun he. And the sentence will remain meaningful if you remove himself. He should pack his bag. They themselves will pay for the fine. Here, themselves is an emphatic pronoun that is emphasizing the pronoun they. I myself heard that loud sound. Here, myself, emphasizing I, and the sentence will remain meaningful without it. I heard that loud sound. So, in all these sentences, the compound pronoun is emphasizing the pronoun. Now next we will learn what are possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns. This is my pen, not her pen. You can see that the word pen is being repeated, and it makes the sentence somewhat less refined as they are repetitive. So, to avoid this kind of repetition, we use pronouns like, this pen is mine, not hers. The pronoun mine and hers tell us about the ownership of the pen. These pronouns are called possessive pronouns, as they tell us about the ownership and possession of things. Possessive pronouns replace nouns or noun phrases in a sentence. Also, they are never followed by a noun. Let's have a look at more examples. My father is much taller than your father. It seems repetitive. The word father is coming twice in the sentence. Here we can use possessive pronoun to replace the noun in sentence. My father is much taller than yours. Here we have used the possessive pronoun yours, which has replaced the noun very well, and it's not followed by any other noun. Your pencil is sharper than my pencil. Again, it seems repetitive, as the word pencil is being repeated there twice. So you can use a possessive pronoun to replace a noun. Your pencil is sharper than mine. Here we have used the possessive pronoun mine. It has replaced the noun very well, and it shows the possession of the pencil. Here we have a table which will help you to remember different possessive pronouns to be used for different situations. Mine is used to tell about the ownership of the pronoun I. Yours is used to tell about the ownership of the pronoun you. Similarly, his for he, hers for she, its for it, ours for we, theirs for they, Now let's see the usage of different possessive pronouns. Examples. All these dresses and bags are mine. Here, mine is telling about the ownership of the pronoun I. What's mine is yours, my buddy. Here, the pronoun mine is telling about the ownership of I, and yours is telling about the ownership of you. The red house is theirs. Theirs is telling the ownership of the pronoun they. The whole idea of giving a surprise party was mine. Here, mine is telling the ownership of the pronoun I. Their interests are different from ours. Here, ours is telling the ownership of the pronoun we. John's efforts were better than hers, so he won. Hers is telling the ownership of the pronoun she. It was not our mistake, but theirs that they lost the game, telling the ownership of the pronoun they. So kids, possessive pronouns tell us about the possession or ownership of someone or something. They replace the noun or noun phrase in the sentence, and they are not followed by another noun. Also, they make a sentence less repetitive. So friends, that's all for today. We have learned what are emphatic pronouns and what are possessive pronouns. Now you may go ahead and take a quiz to learn more. Bye-bye.
Now homework time. The task is you are supposed to read any newspaper or any magazine, whichever it is available to you, and you have to frame 5 sentences with pronouns, and you have to underline the pronoun and write the type of pronoun. For example, the dog bit itself. The dog bit itself. What kind it is? Emphatic pronoun or intensive pronoun. In this example, the intensive pronoun itself refers back to the noun, the dog. If possible, give the explanation, or else just do the example sentence and underline it and tell which kind of the pronoun you have used. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. See you.